In the Andes, we have great scenic landscapes, majestic but arid mountains with poor plant cover. What we did not know is that these arid landscapes are due to the degradation of the plant cover by human activity in recent centuries, and that this degradation is a major cause of rural poverty. Here, we're in Choqquequirao, the famous archaeological park. Its access is very difficult, which protects the park from degradation.
There are no large forests in the Peruvian Sierra, only some inter-Andean forests, and I only know this cedar forest, which is native and it's very old.
The tall cedar is a large tree in the Andes, in danger of extinction.
This is very good soil quality.
I am sure that a few centuries ago, much of the Andes was covered by forests similar to this one.
We have relict forests in this region, such as Choqquequirao, Ollantaytambo, the Malaga Pass, near road to the province of Paruro, and in several other provinces, which suggests that the Andean ecosystem was not as we perceive it now. Extensive grasslands, desolate plains, all with shrubs. But most likely, all these areas that are deforested used to have extensive forests.
Soil degradation begins with the elimination of the plant cover, by cutting down trees and not replacing them, by uncontrolled grazing that prevents new plants from growing, by burning land for agricultural purposes. In general, by exploiting the land without taking into account its preservation. Every year, hundreds of forest fires destroy the plant cover.
Forest fires not only affect forests, but also affect the rest of the anthropic activities that we develop. When we damage or modify a wild ecosystem, we are going against our own livelihoods.
Little by little, the depth of the fertile soil diminishes.
What we see here is very degraded. And degraded means that the plants that were here and produced well, including enough food for the animals, have all been eliminated, eaten away. So what remains is what we are seeing here. This dry, unproductive grass is what remains. That's what we are seeing here. These thorny, woody plants remain because the animals cannot eat them. There is a lot of erosion because these plants don't cover the soil well. A lot of soil has already been washed away. It has all gone down to the river. What remains is rock. This is a very degraded landscape, and this occurs in more or less 90% of the surface of the Andes of Peru.
The springs are drying up. The soil, eroded by rains, is poor. Farms produce very little. Animals are skinny. The countryside becomes poor.
Any crop produces little, but you have to work hard to be able to produce anything at all. It generates poverty.
Another effect of erosion is the increase in frequency and size of landslides, even impacting Peru's coast. Degradation of the Andes generated extreme poverty. Many families have no choice but to migrate to the Amazon rainforest. The destruction of the jungles is mainly caused by thousands of families from the Andes. They cut down and burn the trees to grow crops. The serious degradation of the mountains creates great damage in the coast and destroys the Amazon.
We have great potential for forests in Peru, not only in the Amazon, but also in the Andean region. That is where we have the greatest land resources with forest potential. These areas are degraded and can be used to restore ecosystems and to implement large-scale timber production.
In 2012, when we started in Caraguayo, it was the poorest district in Peru. Monica Cutipa Flores was 11 years old.
They began to promote planting pine trees as a contest.
Within 4 years, 500 families living in Caraballo planted more than 1 million trees.
The soil remains moist and the plants don't die. Our home was very neglected, but because of those competitions, we started to improve, even our home, and also by planting trees. We dedicated a lot of effort and interest into improving.
In parallel to the afforestation, the community members of Caraballo improved their homes, developed businesses that do not affect the environment so much, such as raising trout or breeding guinea pigs. They also improved rangeland management and the cultivation of fodder crops. Monica's family developed their guinea pig breeding business.
We already had guinea pigs, and we're doing very well now. We currently have an association, and many members of our community work in this guinea pig business.
Thanks to this business, Monica's parents managed to get their 4 children to study in Cusco. Monica completed her international business career.
Mushrooms can be harvested when there are pine trees.
Now, Monica is starting a business to market the mushrooms that grow in her village.
I'm starting here with the Tayankani community. There are enough of us who harvest this product. We hope to work with more communities. We're also growing timber trees and will be able to sell timber. Maybe we will have a much better financial situation than we had before. In fact, we are already much better off, but we want to do more.
People have already improved fertility of their irrigated areas. With this, they produce fodder for guinea pigs or to produce milk, and they have also planted trees such as pine and other trees in small quantities, and this also gives them some income, for example with mushrooms. And what remains to be done is to expand these areas and achieve even better incomes. People can become really prosperous, even in the areas with the greatest poverty in Peru. And that is, in the end, what we want to achieve.
By focusing on the development and recovery of the environment, communities can improve their quality of life in a sustainable way. To date, there are more than 16,000 families that planted about 12 million trees through our projects, including native cedars and other native species. Based on our experience, we can confirm that Peru can recover its soils and thus drastically reduce poverty. It would be really great to replicate the experience of Caraballo and plant millions of trees in the coast, mountains and jungle of Peru.